Urbex is urban exploration, exploring abandoned buildings.
Yeah. Mainly exploring abandoned buildings, but it's sub down to exploring everything. Like you can explore, it's just the exploration of everything. So like rooftoping and even like live buildings, just trying to break into them and like explore them. It's everything. But the way we do it's just all abandoned buildings. It's a different sort of photography that no one else really does. It's not like
It's not landscape.
go out and take a photo of a field
portraits.
or things like that. It's something weird and people look at it and they're interested and be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like the crisp peeling and stuff. It's like what's being built is now decaying around us, and there's more glass skyscrapers going up, and places like this are left to rot. We met on Instagram via you putting a photo up of like an abandoned building.
Yeah,
And I started
we'll
talking,
drive
and the first day we met, we decided, right, we'll go here, and kind of just picked up from there.
Yeah.
And then you meet more and more people along the way and go more
Find
and
more
more places.
places.
Yeah. The furthest one we went to was
Galway.
Yeah.
Well, Berlin.
Berlin and Budapest are different. The one in Ireland would have been an asylum. We met a girl down there as well, but if we hadn't have met her, we wouldn't have got in. So I'm so glad. How long was that drive? About 4 or 5 hours?
Too long.
Yeah.
Drive home again after.
Yeah, drove home again after. That asylum was creepy. So there was like padded cells, and it still had like the frame in it, and the people, there was just like teeth marks where the people were looking out. And all the medicine and all the files,
Cool.
everything was still in it.
I was in a paranormal group a few years ago, and I would have went around and found the buildings for the group and took the photographs. So then I started to drift away from the group and realised that it was abandoned buildings more is what I wanted to get into, and to try and find the story of who lived there before and maybe find objects that they had was left there to tell more of a story. So I think that's what took me away, and then I started to document that on photographs, and then I built up a large body of work and then started Facebook. Abandoned NI. My friends and family think of Urbex. Some of them like it, some of them don't. They can find it a bit boring. But in the most parts, they like to see inside the houses, especially if I find one that has stuff inside it. They all like to see, you know, what was it, who was living there before, and why is it abandoned. So, yeah, it's a mixed bag, really.
When I was young, I was really adventurous. And across from where I lived there was an old doors and more factory, and it had been abandoned only for a couple of years, and originally the only way to get into it was you had to climb through a very small gate, but I was only about 8 years old at the time, so me and my friend just to go through there. I have been caught once by the police. We were actually leaving at the time, and the police started to walk up the path, and there was nowhere for me to hide, and I had to kind of accept it, and they just gave me a warning. But other than that, I have never actually been caught. I've had to hide in a very tall, dangerous building from the police, but never anything else.
I have been caught by the police once, yes. It was in Foster Green Hospital. It was kind of a dodgy one. I was with another group of explorers. We were just exploring around an old mortuary part of the hospital. We heard something outside and looked outside, and the police had us surrounded. Didn't really have much to do then apart from give ourselves up. Yeah, we just explained that we were just interested in urbex photography and sort of explained a bit of what we do and what interests us, and showed them a few photos, and all they did was search our bags to see that we had a lot of camera equipment, and that was it really. We do have a set of rules and regulations where we leave only footprints and take only photographs. We just don't vandalise the place, we don't steal anything obviously, we just take photos and be on our way really.
It can be unsafe, you have to keep your wits about you, but as long as you're smart, I think it's pretty safe, as long as you tell someone where you're going and that you have some way someone can contact you and kind of what time you're going to be there till, just so someone knows.
I wouldn't class all of it unsafe. There would be some points that would be unsafe, like some buildings are in decay and roofs are not really as safe or stable as they used to be. There's been a couple of times where we have nearly went through roofs, we have nearly went through brick walls and doors and all stuff like that, but thankfully, touch wood, not yet. I haven't fallen or broken anything just yet. Rooftopping is where, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. Top of roofs of buildings and complexes and more along those stuff like that, and like where we are now. And the views and the pictures you get from rooftops are outstanding. And there's a massive difference between the photos between in a building and on top of a building. A friend of mine, we headed out to Bangor one night, and there was a crane and a construction site behind the train station. We seen it one night. We were like, yeah, we'll have a crack at that, see what's inside it. You get a couple of photos and stuff. So we entered the building. Just scaffolding everywhere, which made it very easy. There was a crane just to the right in the middle. We're like, yeah, right, we'll get up that. There was one single ladder the whole way up, which was a wee bit sketchy because you're like, it's wet, it's cold, it's not nice. So get up to the top, hanging out, literally hanging out, and taking a couple of photos, and we're like, right, okay. Next thing is we're like, it's a bit windy, and next thing this big gust of wind just took the crane. And the way a crane works is it's got a wee bit of swing, and when the wind hits it, it goes about certain degrees and then it locks. But I was laughing, my friend was basically squilling because the wind was taking this crane about 40 odd degrees to the right, and it finally clicked into place, and it was adrenaline filled, it was scary, you thought you were going to fall every 3 seconds, but it was outstanding. Like that's what basically I kind of keep doing it, the excitement, the adrenaline, it's fantastic.
Basically, because we were using Instagram, we wanted somewhere to like put
Put
all
a
our
full
photos
album, a
in an
full
album.
album.
Yeah, and like Facebook seemed the easiest place to share it, because there's like Tumblr and
Yeah.
all sorts of crap. But Facebook was more than you were
Acceptable.
able to share it with your friends and family as well. So like my friends were interested, like I'd share photos with them on it too, instead of having Instagram where it's scattered photos as well. That was mainly why.
My work started to get quite large. It was going to loads of places. So I felt that I wanted to document it and let other people see it. So everyone likes to look at it and they love to hear the story and the backdrop of why it's like that. So it's just grown from that really, and the interest's there and people love to look at it. So I suppose the page is well known, not the photographer as such. But yeah, it's good. It's good that it gets recognition and that the interest is there. I think maybe it would be good if we could start some sort of preservation as well for these buildings. It might give awareness that we're letting things go when we shouldn't be. With the likes of Carnty House is a typical example in Larne. It's just left to rot and ruin. So yeah, it was good. The Belfast Telegraph got in touch and they did an article, and the BBC as well on their page. It was good to get a wee bit of, I suppose, 5 minutes of fame. The Urbex scene in Northern Ireland does exist. It's quite a small community. I would sort of network with Irish Urbex and Forgotten Ulster, and then with a few down south that we would go and meet and go to the bigger asylums and stuff in the hospitals. We'd meet up with them and do it together on a big day trip.
Yeah, there was one other explorer kind of put us off meeting the other community, and we just thought none of them really ever wanted, and everyone went alone. And then as we've went on, there's like more explorers have noticed their page. Like there's Uncharted Ireland, Abandoned NI, Forgotten Ulster, and they're all really encouraging as well. And we would do trips with them, and it's nice to get to know other photographers with the same interests. They'd be the top, and their photos are amazing.
Basically I kind of keep doing it, the excitement, the adrenaline, it's fantastic.